that it was a nice little confrontation after the Lakers' intense victory over the New York Knicks. They won 113-109, but LeBron James was seen confronting sports commentator Stephen A. Smith. And they said the altercation stemmed from Smith's recent critiques on the NBA's readiness of LeBron James' son, Bronny James. Stephen A. said that, hey, that wasn't LeBron James, the basketball player, approaching me. That was LeBron James, the father. Uncle Neely, let us know your thoughts on this situation, if you don't mind. I
Well,
know you have
first
a
of
strong
all,
opinion.
well, I don't know if I don't have a strong opinion because I wasn't there, and I don't know the particular comments that LeBron may or may not have been responding to. I do know this: I will never argue against or bridge a father's right, and I dare say even responsibility to speak up for his children. And I don't care who the father is or who the child is. You don't see a Deion Sanders being quiet when people have something to say about Shadur Shiloh or even children of his like Travis Hunter, other folks on the team. That's just how I roll myself. Like I think there are certain things, certain conversations, certain words that can be used. And again, I don't know the specific thing that LeBron was responding to. I don't know what Stephen A. may have said that caused him to do this. I'm talking in general terms. Hey man, one of the sharpest critiques black men get is not being stand-up dads. I got a father figure hat on. That's what the F2 is for
Mm.
father figure. I'm with it. Like, you have the right and again responsibility when somebody says something that you don't like about your children. And it don't matter how old you are, how much money you got in the bank, how old they are, they're still your child. You're still their father. And it's a difference for me, guys, from babying somebody and defending somebody. So it's not like this is a grown man that's like trying to be being protective, of another grown man. No matter how the world see it, that's my son. And if you say something that I think is run afoul about him or in the wrong manner, in the wrong context, I'm gonna say something to you when I see you too.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, Dukes, Cordell, what do you guys think about this? Because Stephen
Well,
A. did say that this is not the player approaching him like Uncle Neely is articulating, but this was the father approaching him.
if I remember correctly, Stephen A. I think at one point in time when Bronny got on the floor with the Lakers, that he was responding to Bronny's, if you will, inconsistencies of making shots, wide open shots. And I think what he was trying to say was to stop pushing the envelope, getting your kid on the floor when he's not ready, because he's truly phenomenal over in the B League. And so I think Stephen A was just like, man, come on, slow down, man. Just give the kid a chance to really evolve and develop into becoming a player of his own and not be in the shadows of you, because that's a tremendous shadow that
Mm,
Bronny's in. And I think Stephen A was speaking as a parent and also one that understands the term nepotism, right? So you're going to fight very hard for your kid to be as successful as they can, but there is a process, right? There is a target on the back of the kid to say, okay, if he's not out there producing the way the masses may feel he should because of who his dad is, as we see Shador going through some of those things when it comes down to how great his father was and Deion Sanders, and people having that expectation up at the highest levels, whether they're going to like him or hate him, people are going to respond a certain way. So I thought from what I saw watching it on ESPN and hearing Stephen A's response, he was kind of being that more protective type guy. I say this with my frat brothers when we have these marathon of texts going back and forth. I'm like, bro, allow that kid to get as much confidence as he can get over in the B League, to where once he does come in to the big leagues, he can have the confidence, the comfort, and everything else to be as great, because knowing what the backlash is going to be, if he's anything less than that, it's going to be a bit much. And what I heard from Stephen A was like, come on, LeBron, you know, just allow the kid to kind of find his way be there for him. He's already on the team. He's the 55th, I think, player taken in the draft. Um, give him an opportunity to evolve and not have him to succumb to the peer pressures of being like his father, which is nothing but great right now because the kid is still young. That's what I got from it when I saw it and when I heard the sentiment that Stephen A gave to it. I think he submitted himself to understanding the bigger thing, which was he's defending his son and not the player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Duke, after you have the chance to catch up on that and see what happened, what do you think about it?
I think it goes both ways, right? Where from the perspective of Stephen A. Smith, LeBron is a clear case that you use some of your influence to get your son in the league. And we're not, I would have done it for my kid. But at the same time, who is above reproach when you put yourself in this situation? Stephen A. Smith, I met Stephen A. last year at the National Association of Black Journalists. And I had just had an article come out, and I asked him, and then the question I had for him and the time I spent with him was, when you have relationships in the business, how do you toe the line of news and business? And he basically said, you don't. He said, you got a job to do, and they know your job on the front end. So from that point, I knew that if Stephen A. Smith had something to say that he thought that was going to affect his friendship with somebody else, then he would go with the job first. Okay. From LeBron's point, I know these guys have a relationship, and that's what it looked like LeBron is saying. Like, bro, listen, you got a million ways you could have hollered at me, but you chose to holler at me on broadcast television. So that's why you saw LeBron holler at him where? On broadcast television. So it wasn't the phone call, from what I understand, and knowing Stephen A. Smith, the phone call didn't go to LeBron saying, hey, LeBron, hey, I feel like this is the reason that we have to, this is the reason why you should have handled things differently. He said it in front of the entire nation multiple times. And I think as a father, LeBron was like, bro, you could have hollered at me. But, since you didn't, I'm going to holler at you. So I look at it from both ways. And I think it's something that to be resolved fairly swiftly. And one thing we know about Stephen A. Smith is he's going to push the envelope every time. And some of the things that he said about Bronny didn't sound exactly like that's somebody, because, Stephen A. Smith going to let you know. He's going to say, hey, this is my dear friend. This is my such and such, whatever it is. And we never, and I know it's LeBron being a parent, because you never seen LeBron go at Stephen A. Smith for saying that he wasn't the greatest. You never seen him say, hey, man, you hating on me, or why you keep hating on me. He always said, like, he don't really say nothing. So I think from this time, and it was LeBron being a father, and I can't fault anybody for being Papa Bear.
Yes, indeed, man. Like you said, when you met Stephen A. Smith, he said he's gonna say what he needs to say for his job, no matter what type of relationship he has with that person. He's going to be on. We've heard him speak about Coach Prime in ways that we would look and be like, hey, he just said that. Aren't they friends? But like you said, he's going to say what he feel like he needs to say. Shout out to LeBron, in my opinion, though. A lot of people might not like this. A lot of people might be opposed to it. But shout out to LeBron for coming up to him and saying something. But at the same time, LeBron, you 6 foot forever. Stephen A. Smith, little old fella like that. Is that bullying?
Man,
would he come up?
Chico, first
That's
of all,
the question. I just asked the question. I just asked the question.
Hey, hold on, Chico, real quick. Stephen A. Smith ain't no little guy.
No, he ain't a little guy, but everybody looks small next to LeBron. But Stephen
let
about 6'1".
Let me say something, Chico.
Yeah.
One, want to pick something that Dukes, my good friend Duke, said. What Stephen A. does on the platforms that he does it on, in my mind, can't be compared to what LeBron did. Let me tell you why. I know LeBron James know the cameras follow him everywhere. I know that he realized somebody recording this, but he didn't do it like with a microphone in his hand and stop the arena. He didn't do it on like he walked up to him one-on-one. Like, why does he have to be the guy to be like, hey, let me holler at you in the back? Stephen A. didn't say, let me holler at you back. So I don't think LeBron did it like on national TV the way Stephen A. does. And I'm going to challenge y'all this. And I will use myself. I will use Chico. I will use Cordell / Stewart. And I will use Dukes as an example of this. when you hear Cordell say, "Me and Coach Prime are friends," you can find recent records of Coach Prime saying, "Me and Cordell are friends." When you hear Neely say, "I talked to Prime today," you can find in a short search where Prime will acknowledge, "I talked to Neely today." The same thing with Dukes, the same thing with Big Dog Chico. A lot of these times when Stephen A be prefacing what he about to say with "my dear, dear, dear friend," I ain't never heard them people come back and say "my dear, dear, dear friend" to him. I think he be setting the stage for like a kind of a soft shoe, passive aggressive justification. What I'm about to say. Hey, now if I can say this about my friend, I can say it about anybody. But you don't ever hear these other people come back and say, "Oh yeah, me and Stephen A tight." So I think sometimes, man, there's these presumptions of close relationships with people that really don't exist in the real world. Like everybody watching this show, including the 4 participants on the panel, has had a job before. And when you look at people at work, you'll think they friends. But soon as that horn sounded 5 o'clock, man, I can't stand that mofo. Like we just work together.
That's right.
Like we gotta stop assuming these people are tight just because they work together. We don't know that Stephen A or LeBron or vice versa actually like each other. You don't know that.
From the other side, all you hear is Stephen A saying, and my brother, like he's talking about Donovan Mitchell the other day. And I love my brother Donovan Mitchell. I love him. You know, but does Donovan Mitchell love you? Like you just setting this up, like, you know,
But answer this
get what
question,
you're saying.
guys. But answer this question real quick. Okay, we're I guess, you know, some are more enthusiasts of football and I'm sure some may be more basketball. But being that I'm sure we all are basketball fans because that's what we are today, is if you're watching Bronny James play, okay, and you watch him in the B League to you watching him prime time with the Lakers, we've all played basketball. We know when watching a player if he's ready or if he's not ready, whether it's in good times or it's garbage time. As an analyst, you do have a job outside of the emotions and the feelings of what you know of that player, who the father is. Your job is to analyze what you see. And because of compassion in knowing LeBron, his legacy, what he's accomplished, every time, former player, myself, we put our kids in these certain places every once in a while that may cause them to come across like they're really not ready yet. And what I'm saying is to you guys, and what I'm asking is, when you watch Bronny, especially in the early stages in which we've heard Stephen A say things along the lines of, "Come on, man, get out of the way, LeBron. Allow this kid to be himself and allow him to evolve in playing the game and not have him deal with the backlash that may be unwarranted so early to where it causes you to come out of your bag to want to correct, chastise, want to get at." And LeBron being in the position he's in my opinion, yes, make the phone call to Stephen A. 100%. You don't damage your credibility as the mogul that you are to us, and you protect your son behind the scenes by correcting the envelope. If you're watching Bronny, what do you think you see when he's on the floor with the Lakers as opposed to when he's on the floor with the B League?
Well, let me nitpick that a second.
Or G League, whatever BRG that is. Yeah.
You make a very salient and excellent point. But I also got to say this as a pushback. If LeBron James Jr. wasn't LeBron James Jr., Stephen A. wouldn't be talking about him not being ready. Because every team got somebody on it that ain't supposed to be on that damn team. Like, don't nobody say a word about that 8th white guy on the bench that offers nothing. He just friends with the GM or buddy with the starter, so they got him on the squad. Like, when you look at the NBA roster from 1 through 15, when you get down there around 9 on out, don't nobody even know them guys. And no one's saying they should be in the G League or they should be doing that. And then we're also making a presumption, because I've never heard LeBron say it. Please put it up on screen if you have. I've never heard LeBron James say publicly, "Yeah, I told Rob and the coach to put my son in the game and don't take him out, or to do this or do that." Like, if LeBron ain't in the loop on the AD trade, why we think he in the loop on the minutes. Like, we make this assumption that everything is being orchestrated by him and that this kid ain't ready and it's LeBron's fault that ain't ready. So I'm saying this to what you said, Cordell, is as brilliant as it was. That's even more reason I'm finna go to a Stephen A. Because now, Stephen A., you are making it like I'm the one that's forcing him on the floor. Like,
Yeah,
that
but
I'm the one doing this.
But that's why I think, for me, because if we know Stephen A. for being as brash as possible when it comes to any topic, and no one
Absolutely.
gets excluded from whatever it is he wants to say or has to say based on what he sees. If he doesn't respond to it the way he doesn't get that new 5-year multi-million,
Absolutely.
$100 million deal.
Absolutely.
And because we know the platform that he has will shape the stage, so kind of sort of. Again, I still stand on it's more of a protection thing towards his son than it was his son not being able to play. Because I never heard him say one time that he wasn't good enough. But what I did say was, come on, man, allow him a chance to, because I even said that with my son in dialogue. I'm like, bro, look, if we keep Ronnie over there in the G League, come on, guy, work with me. It's B or G? Is it the G League? There you go. There you go.
Good.
There you go. There you
Good
go.
league.
Good. So if we're having him over in the G League, getting those minutes to get, because at one point in time he couldn't hit a jump shot to save his soul when he would play in garbage time with the Lakers. And so when you see that, you're saying to yourself, as a black man and watching my son in who I am, I gotta be like, hey man, come on now. Don't expose him to the stuff that others may say that may not have a chance to talk to if I'm Stephen A. to me like that. He can't go and say people on the other network the stuff that he said to Stephen A. or even have the access to calling them like he can to Stephen A. And because I think culturally, because Stephen A. is he's in a double-edged sword now. It's that space of I got to do my part and I want to be as transparent, because he could have went harder and said, man, that dude don't supposed to be out there. I don't know why we got this man out here, missing.
He certainly could have said that, but
And he didn't. And so that's why I said, for me, is, hey, Stephen A., let's I understand where you're coming from. I ain't got nothing to do with that, but slow down on hollering at my son like this here, because now that because cameras are everywhere and phones are everywhere, right? Recordings are everywhere. Now all of a sudden it looked like it's a bully, like we just sarcastically said, he's bullying him because he's bigger, and people can take that and run it, like they want to, and I get both sides, but I play to the side of, I get what Stephen A. is trying to say, and it made LeBron get a little, overly fatherly in a sense, because you can't say he wasn't being a father, or he can't be too much of a father. But at the same time, I think the phone call should have been made more than having it to be that, because I think there is a relationship, because Stephen A. respects LeBron. I mean, we just heard him before that happened yesterday, that Stephen A. gave LeBron more love about being the GOAT because of the tenure in which he's been playing for 22 plus years. And now that he has Luka, look how he's been rejuvenated in playing the game. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't play the nepotism game too much, because I've seen my son get yelled at for something he didn't do. And the coach ran up to me as if Sy did something. I said, did you talk to Sy? Do you know? He comes back the next day and he apologizes to me. But I got to let my son go through that process to get stronger and let him tell me on the back end. Now, later on, when I saw the dude do it to another kid, then I got at him. See, then I got at him, because I'm like, that's just you just being a
because that's the
butthole.
pattern.
Oh, yeah, it's a pattern. That's your behavior. You don't care. You just want to act like you're that dude.
Yeah.
Like you Vince Lombardi around this thing. You got DBs covering receivers with their back to the quarterback and man coverage the whole time.
And if Stephen A. ain't nothing, he a pattern.
We've seen this before.
In the word, and look, I'm not knocking the man's hustle. Stephen A. is the greatest thing that's ever happened to ESPN. I am very proud for his brother. I wish him much continued success. He knows when he's pushing buttons. He knows how it gets views. He knows how it gets clicks. He is the gold standard of what you do in broadcasting and sports journalism at a level that balance between sports and entertainment and education and knowledge. Like I love his craft and his work, what he does.
Mm-hmm.
But like like my man Charlie Murphy said about Slick Rick James, Stephen A is a habitual line stepper. Like, and so if you're able to respond to your little league coach because of a pattern, I mean, damn, if ain't nobody in the world got the pattern, Stephen
This
A.
is in high school. This is in high school, bro. And I mean, this joke is sitting up
Awesome.
here. Like, yeah, he's mad because, he comes in, I'm his dad. So he's like, this, that, and the third. And the head coach like, you know what you're talking about? He said, all I know is this, that, and the third. So all of a sudden it get to the point where he sees Sire on practice and Sire looked at him and walked away. And I guess one of the kids said something. He thought Sire said it. So I walk up to Sire on the side. I said, what did you just say? Say, Dad, I promise you, I didn't say nothing to that man. I went back to him. I said, my son said he didn't say nothing to you. Man, I'm telling you what I heard. So I left it there. I left it there because I can't allow me being a parent override coaching when it comes to these players. I chose to come into this space. They didn't, so if I come in this space, I got to kind of fall in line to an extent, but help my son on the back end.
I love it, Slash. I love it. I love it because Stephen A was in LeBron's space. LeBron wasn't at the studio in Bristol. LeBron wasn't at the studio in LA. Stephen A was in the gym. Like, you in my space. And in the words of Loaded Lux, you gonna get this work.
You don't get that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I just think these are two professional. LeBron is a professional man. That's a billionaire. We got Stephen A who has a job that's gonna force him to say some stuff that if he sees it a certain way, he's gonna straddle the fence, which we heard him do, but he's also gonna go right at it. And I just think LeBron felt like it was a necessity. It was his duty to correct that brother on site. And for me, I guarantee you, we gonna see in front of the camera them shaking hands and making up, if you will, because that's what we talked about after all this stuff. And I just wish it would have happened that way before. You understand me? Until as opposed to the back end. But I get it.
I will tell you this, Slash Deuce and Chico. Chico, put that last graphic back up.
Oh. Wait.
Oh, the other one. No. Yeah, there we go. My God, look at Stephen A. hairline and LeBron's hairline.
Lord,
they both in the class together.
Come on now, dog.
My Lord. Like that was LeBron should have walked on and said, "Hey, dog, like you get like
I can hook you up." You know what I mean? I can hook you up.
That's what he should have been saying.
Look, let me tell the audience out there was so fortuitous, I think is the word about this conversation. We were having Slash back. He was on Wednesday with us live. We were having him back to talk about the GOAT debate, having no idea that this was going to happen, and just throw a grapefruit to us to hit out the ballpark. If you're just joining the chat, man, we got started right into it. Let us know where you're from in the chat. It's the morning run with Big Dog Chico, your man Uncle Neil, and of course Deuce Scoop, and special guest Cordell / Stewart is back with us. Hey,
yes, sir.
The first guest that came 2 times in a row, baby.
The biggest ball.
I love it, man. I love it. You said the biggest ball. Yeah.
Biggest ball.
It won't be. I'm sure that ain't his first time coming 2 times.
Here we go.
Paul.
Come on now, dog.
That was a line stepper right there. I bet you.
Yeah.
Hey, but hold up, Chico. Hold up, Chico.
Covered 2 times.
Whether it's Rick James, whether it's Stephen A. or Neely, we got a pattern. Like, I ain't doing nothing I don't typically do.
That's right.
Hey, what Uncle Neil always say? The best indicator of future performance
is past performance.
That's right.